Jerome Span. Of course, I'm here to tell you about our sponsor today. And our sponsor is, of course, and will forever be longstanding. Hey, mind you, he don't give me no money, but this is my man's. I got to hold him down. It is Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen, Swopes is out here trying to change lives. He's trying to help get these young athletes into college each and every week. Every day he dedicates a lot of time to this. This man has a serious passion for helping others further their education and further their lives in with a lot of great ways. They are on Facebook. Make sure you look up Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. Swopes is spelled S-W-O-P-E-S. It is ran by Mr. Nathaniel Swopes Jr. He is the man in Houston, if y'all don't know. Yes, make sure you go check him out if you're trying to get your kid into school, or hell, if you're even a kid here that's thinking about going into school and you want to try and keep playing, keep your athletic career going, make sure you go check out Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. He is the man that is going to help you keep that dream going. So make sure you follow them on Facebook, and you can get right a hold of Mr. Swopes there. He will help you get into college and keep your dream going for continuing to play your sports. So again, people, Swopes Athletic Recruiting and Scouting. Check it out now. Help change some kid around you that you know's future, or hell, even your future.
Yeah, Enigma in the house. My man J-Span, Titan Studios. It's called From the Heart. Keeping it real is what all the song's about. Never selling your soul. Always staying true to yourself. Alright, yeah. Check it out. Money, cars, but will never get you far unless you gonna spit it from the heart. Yeah, money, cars, but will never get you far unless you gonna spit it from the start. Man, money, cars, but will never get you far unless you gonna spit it from the heart. Yeah, money.
And welcome back to your favorite weekly sports show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is ITC Sportsball, and I am your man, Jerome Span. Of course, prettiest face on ITC. Don't you forget it, baby. And we have got the sports ball crew in the building today. We've got, of course, the originator of this whole ITC thing. Some of y'all know him as the Ace. Some of y'all know him as Pop Pop. If you get into his face, he will put you in your place. Ladies and gentlemen, he is that man, Terrell.
What's going on, everybody? Looking forward to a great show this week, like we do every week. Come on, let's do this, fellas. Let's pop off.
Of course, we've got ITC's resident hot take spitter. He's out here looking real baby face today, ladies and gentlemen. Just got to throw that in there. He is the man who rips like Dylan spits. He is the modern day Ali on the microphone. When he steps into your home, all your ladies is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, he is that man.
I had to remind the two O-Ns that there's a real Y-N among them. So,
brother, you're Stop it.
So we here.
You're old. You're old, brother. After the conversation we was just having the other night, Mason, no, nigga, you old now at this point. Okay.
Hey, bro, that could just be genetics, bro. That ain't
nah, brother.
Age.
Hey, you know who doesn't have to deal with those problems? YNs.
Mm-hmm. Why, bro? They don't have to deal with any kind of problems, bro.
Exactly. That's my point. You not a YN no more.
Yeah, I am, bro. Dog, do you see how old I am right now?
Right now, give it about a week. You're gonna go back to the OM status. I could go shave off my beard. I don't change my age on my birth certificate or on my ID.
Like I said, brother, you may think you're a YN because you shaved, but you not. Go ask a YN if you actually a YN, brother, and see how that
They
goes.
don't know how old I am, bro, so they probably believe me. I know the lingo. I could talk like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I know how to use a perfectly well placed cap.
And you'll be walking up saying things like, "Hey there, fellow kids, let's do this." That's gonna be you. That being said, gotta get this show rolling because we got plenty to talk about today. But of course, we gotta start here with the potential executive order coming from Agent Orange here, trying to mess around in college football. Now, for those that haven't seen this here, the executive order that he is potentially talking about doing out there, is to limit the amount of NIL money that these players can essentially end up getting here and putting more money into the rich guys' hands and trying to make the system more like what it used to be, which the Supreme Court has already shot that down one time when the NCAA tried to make it like that. So I don't know why we're back here, but this is what Agent Orange is trying to do. I know there's been a lot of people that have been complaining out there. Some, current coaches and former coaches have been out here complaining about that they have to finally pay their players and they don't just have all the power over them. Got to ask you, Mace, of course, since you are the guy here that played college football among us, brother, is this good or bad for the sport?
Coming from who it's coming from, I'm not necessarily sure that it's positive, but I will say that a cap on the NIL collective that a school has, right? Saying that like a particular school can only give out a max of $4 million, but that doesn't mean these kids can't go out and boosters can't provide extra NIL benefits, right? Like, you see it all the time now. Kids are driving to school up in Hellcats and stuff like that because they got an NIL deal with the owner of a dealership or something like that that's completely separate from the school.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that, I feel, are still fine, right? If we're saying that a school has a cap on their NIL collective, because Texas NIL collective is like 6-point-something million. That's absurd, right? Let's just say we cap these Power Fives at like 4 million, right? But that doesn't mean necessarily that they can't get NIL deals from boosters.
So here's where I'm going to take issue with this. The schools make way more money than that more money than that off these players. So the players should be entitled to that profit. It is their work that is being put in out there. It is their bodies being put on the line. So they should be entitled to their share of the profit. Trying to put a cap on this is essentially doing what you used to do, because it's saying, hey, we can give you these certain benefits, but you guys are getting too much, even though you're the ones actually here putting in the work. My biggest issue is that's bull crap. I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing the excuse of that, hey, the football programs have to pay for everything else, have to pay for the lacrosse team and all this other stuff. Hey, man, those people have an opportunity to go get NILs, go get sponsors and stuff to take care of their programs. I don't think it's okay for the football programs to consistently have to pay for all these other programs who don't ever have to try and put in. They don't even have to try and go get sponsors and stuff. They just ride off of that, off the backs of the football players. That's garbage to me. Go out there and go get your money. Is this in America or not?
So
economy? That's all I'm saying.
Here's where I think a cap is okay though, because at some point it's just going to turn into soccer before financial fair play, where eventually guys are just gonna have a complete salary cap on their football rosters.
Well, the problem with
they're gonna have a complete salary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. These guys need to get paid.
I think that's a different ballgame. What you're trying to compare it to.
I don't think so. I do not think so, bro. Because think of the Power Fives, how much money they bring in. They can essentially go uncapped. Like, you could essentially give it about 3 years, and we'll be talking about a football program spending 10+ million on their college roster.
So there's already a cap being put in place on what the teams are going to put on. So why do we need an executive order? That's number one. The initial beginning of my statement was, I don't think the it coming from where it's coming from is positive. But I do think that. Let me finish. Let me finish what I was trying to tell you. The reason why I say you cannot compare it to what happened with FIFA and financial fair play, that is two different ball games. What was the biggest issue why financial fair play came in is because these organizations were consistently mortgaging their futures for now, right? They were consistently doing it, and what was happening over and over is that organizations were over and over getting themselves into trouble to where they wouldn't have the money that they need to, and then it was causing them to have to sell off shares, do all types of crazy stuff, take on bad loans to try and get money to pay back these promissory notes that they already had in the future. So what they did was that they finally put it in a system where they said, hey, it's not that you can't spend crazy money anymore, but you have to actually show that the revenue stream is going to be coming in and you have the money to pay for it. So that's why I say you can't do that. The revenue streams are very clear in college football. They, like you said, not only do they have the TV deals, but they got boosters on top of that. They got sponsors that they can go out there and get. The revenue streams are there. I don't want to hear the excuses that we need to start cutting off what people can make. These are the same people that want to cut this off are the same people that tell us over and over that this is capitalism and a free market economy.
Well, I never said we need to cut off what these kids can make. I just said a school's
but that's what this is doing.
A school's NIL collective needs to be capped.
But why? Why does it need to be capped? If their collective decide if they can come up with more money to put into their collective, why do they need to be capped?
I think there just needs to be a flat across, like this is a cap for any school.
But why? What does that do?
What does that do? That keeps us.
Is that gonna make Boise State be able to all of a sudden recruit a 5-star athlete that wants to go to Texas? No, it's not going to change anything. It's just now you're taking the onus off of the schools who are making money hand over fist on these guys and putting the onus on the boosters.
It's already on the boosters, though. These collectives are created by the boosters.
But at this point, the schools are starting to put in because of the Supreme Court deal that they have. They are starting to put in on these collectives now. So now they're having to pay up. It's not just on the boosters. But now what you're saying is, let's limit. Well, I'm sorry, not you. What this bill would be potentially saying, this executive order is, let's take the onus off of the schools here.
Well, the executive order wants to keep the kids capped, not necessarily what the collective has in it, right? Correct?
But it's capping what the schools pay them. So the schools, instead of having to pay potentially close to 50% of their revenue, right? They get away with maybe 20%. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. That doesn't make no sense.
I mean,
why are the guys out there doing the work getting 20?
Not if you have the boosters supplementing that in separate outside NIL deals.
Why is it okay for the schools to get away with it, Mace? Why?
I'm not saying it's okay for them to get away with it. The kids are still making their money.
But they should be making more. Why are we capping them? They could be making more.
They're still making their money. I mean, nobody's saying that Carson Beck needs $6 million from Miami.
But if Miami's willing to offer it to him, why are we trying to say he can't get that?
I'm not saying he can't get it. I'm just saying a team's NIL. I'm just saying a team's NIL collective needs to be capped.
Hey man,
but if you got some rich dude living in a condo in Miami that wants to bring in a quarterback from across the country and separately pay him $6 million or supplement the remainder from the NIL collective, why not?
Why does the school get scaped? Why does the school not have to pay for this? They get the benefit. They get hundreds of millions of dollars in some cases from these football programs, but they get away with not having to pay more money. Why? What sense does that make?
If the kid's getting the money, well, who cares where it comes from?
I'm just saying, I'm not for the situation of, hey, let's just make all these people in this school rich off of the back of all these people doing work that are not all getting rich. Because not everybody's getting rich off of this NIL money. That's another thing we got to talk about. Not everybody is benefiting from NIL money. So again, these schools should have an onus to have to put money in these players' pockets.
I mean, even on these football programs, you're probably looking at a max of like 12 to 15 kids who are receiving a lot of money.
That's my point. So why shouldn't the schools have to ante up some more of that money?
Because nobody's going to pay a 3-star prospect to be on their roster.
Hey,
nobody's going to pay a walk-on to be on their roster.
Hey.
Teams have maybe a max of 10 blue chip guys that they really want on their roster. Other guys are just guys that happen to get better as they come along on the roster.
Hey, it sounds like these schools need to have more want to. All I'm saying is
the teams who want to pay out.
And that's the way it's always been, and the same way it's always going to be. So why we need to put a cap on it? A cap isn't going to change the want to of these teams that want to spend that money. So why are we putting a cap on it and just allowing a bunch of executives sitting in offices to get millions of dollars off of this? Because we know, Mace, that's what ends up happening, right? Is that all that happens is when schools have more money, the executive pay and the coaches' pay goes up. But the players, they don't get up in pay. That's crazy to me. T, I'm sorry. I know we've been going at this hard. How do you feel about this whole situation?
Here's my thing about it, okay? And mind you, I once again I have no dog in the fight because, like I say, I didn't play college sports or anything like that. But my whole thought process is, first off, why is this person wanting to put an executive order for capping someone's earning potential? Okay, that's what it looks like to me. It's like you're trying to put a cap on someone's earning potential while they are at the stage in life where literally we have heard the stories for years. College athletes weren't making money. They were eating ramen noodles 5 days a week because they didn't have money. Now we're at a point in time where these athletes can actually feed themselves and do the things that they want to do, get the protein powder they want instead of whatever these NIL deals have been great for the athletes. And now you're trying to say that the colleges have to cap it off? No, because here's the bigger problem. You have a school like let's take, for example, and it was brought up, Texas. Everybody knows UT. Everybody knows UT. So but we know UT makes a lot more money than University of Miami in Ohio. Okay? We know that. So you're trying to say if you put a cap, and Mace, I understand you said like just a flat cap, then that rest of that money is going back to the school instead of in the pockets of the players. And that's what we've all been saying. We've been saying for years, the players need to have their pockets lined. Because guess what? Now you're going to have these guys who historically, especially, and we're going to look at more into the history of basketball with it, who's historically go to college for a year and then leave for the league. Well, hold on. If I'm in college right now and I got an NIL deal, the school paying me this much, I got my sponsorship, I ain't got to run to the league to make money. I can make my money right here. Oh, because guess what? And everybody be like, oh, well, what happens if your knee busts out? Hey, guess what? I got an NIL deal. So that means my money is already here.
I got insurance.
So what are we talking about? And why is this man wanting to get involved in this? I tell you why. And we all know why. It's because some of his says, oh, hey, old buddy, old pal over there. Hey, let's go ahead and do this so that I can get some more money in my pocket because this whole thing ain't been working for me the last few years. That's what it is. It's his friends saying this. This ain't him thinking about it. No, any righteous person is going to look at it and say, this is not him doing it because he thinks it's the right idea. It's somebody in his ear. Because guess what? Hey, you know what we all gonna look at if they do this? Who getting a kickback on this? Somebody getting a kickback? And I'm not a satirist. I'm not somebody that's thinking about there's all sorts of propaganda and all this stuff. No, I'm looking at it as a person that's saying, why does he want to do this? Oh, because all these people, he probably knows them, and he gonna get a little cut off the top of what they get. They're like, oh, hey Don, yo, I got you with 5% of what we get. You do this. 5% from these universities, that's a lot of money.
I'm gonna be honest with you too, Mace. The idea of capping it feels as stupid as the NBA's second apron. And I know you don't like that. The NBA's second apron is one of the stupidest concepts that just it's like we're trying to make it more quote unquote competitive, but that's not actually the way that competition works. If teams want to be better, they got to have want to.
I mean, when we look at these collectives, right? very rarely do you have a school that's good at basketball or as good at football and a second sport, right? Or very rarely do you have a school that can attract a star in multiple sports.
Mhm.
Teams may be good, like Auburn may be good in basketball, but but it's always some random kids that's been in the league or been in college for a few years that get good, right? Or else in their football program, they can go get a Cam Newton for a year. They can go get a who else for a year, for a couple years, and they're immediate stars. So
Cam Newton was, think about this, Mace, for as great as Cam Newton is. This is why I'm not for the cap stuff. For all that trouble that came up, do you remember how much money that was for, Mace?
not a lot. Not a lot.
$250,000, my nigga. You gonna tell me Cam Newton wasn't worth more than $250,000 to Auburn for what he did? That's all I'm saying. Because we can't be putting these caps.
Yeah,
on
I'm
because,
not saying
I bet
these kids shouldn't be able to get what they're owed. I'm just saying schools shouldn't.
Hey,
when
the schools
listen,
get
bro,
to make millions off these TV deals.
When a college coach comes and sits on a kid's couch to try to recruit him, bro, they shouldn't go in there saying we have a jackpot of 10 million that he's going to get a part of. Sure, he's earning potential in colleges.
Wait.
So hold on. I'm not finished with my point. So sure, that kid has the ability to earn whatever he's owed. I'm not saying the kid can't go get separate NIL deals outside of the school. I'm just saying schools should have a cap on what they're.
I'm going to ask you a base question. Why is it okay for them to take the football money and pay for all these other sports?
Because the football
they have no obligation to do what you're asking the football program to do right now. Why is that okay?
The football generates the revenue to keep the athletic program.
So there's no onus for anybody else to try and go get some revenue.
I'm not saying that, but I mean, we know how
that is the world.
It is.
That is the world you're creating. That is the world that you're saying. That's exactly what that is. Because you're again where that money, like Terrell said, that money going somewhere, brother. It's not like they just going, we just gonna put this into a pot. No, that money's gonna go in somebody's pocket. So it can either go in the players' pockets or some executives. I'm choosing players.
But when have I ever said the players aren't gonna have opportunity to earn their money though?
But you're putting a cap on the money that they should make. So when they are actually,
I'm not saying there's a cap on how much they should make. I'm saying there's a cap on what the schools can offer.
Because the schools, you're putting a cap on what the schools can offer to try and make a level playing ground, right? That doesn't make sense because not all the schools have the same want to. So not all the schools are.
If Matthew McConaughey wants to come through and supply a couple kids on the University of Texas with a Lamborghini, bro, he should be able to do that.
Let me give you an analog. Why did they have to put a salary floor in baseball, in an uncapped sport in baseball, right? Where you can spend whatever money you want on players for forever. That's how it's always been. Why did they have to do that? Because owners were consistently finding ways to shovel more money into their pockets instead of the players. They had to put a salary floor in place because what these organizations will consistently do, Mace, is they will F the players and say, we taking more of that money. All I'm saying is that I don't think that's right. These guys are helping earn the money. Yes, you're the organization. You're going to have costs. People in the organization still should be getting paid too, but shouldn't be at the expense of the players. The players should still be getting their fair share too. And if you're an organization that wants to pay for things like other sports, well, hey, guess what? Figure out how to get some revenue. We got buku billion channels on TV, right? We got internet streams, all the stuff. Figure out a way to get some revenue then. Stop trying to just say the football team got to pay for everybody.
So you're telling me if Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, if they have a collective of $10 million, you're not saying that that's not enough to spread throughout their college program on top of the boosters at those schools being able to come in and supplement.
If the school is making 70-80 million dollars a season off of them, no, that $10 million is not enough. That's absurd. Because
I don't think
schools are making. Look at the TV deals, Mace. That $10 million is already paid for up front in the TV deal every year.
I don't think that's far-fetched to say that a $10 million NIL collective can pay whatever athlete a school wants to pay. On top of boosters coming in separately and doing their thing for that program.
You're missing the point. We're not saying the money can't be filled in otherwise. What we're saying is, why should it go to the executives? Because that's where it's going, Mace. It's going to the executives.
That's where it always goes
in other sports. But why is
that okay? It's not gonna change, bro. Like those dudes are still gonna get their money, regardless of what we think regardless of what we think NIL is gonna do for these kids. These presidents, these executives, these athletic directors, these coaches are still gonna get their money, bro.
I'm not disputing you with that. All I'm saying is the players should get their fair share too.
But what's considered a fair share?
Why is it a cap on the players' money, but not a cap on the executives? Why is there no cap on what the coaches can make, Mace?
It should be.
All right. Well, so let me ask you this: with this system that you're talking about, is there a cap on coach pay too?
It should be.
Okay, all right.
But I think NIL is the new topic. NIL is what's getting players paid, and if we're talking about that, I don't think that's far-fetched to say a $10 million NIL collective cap on a school is too little for the players. I don't think
if you're making, again, nobody is disputing that $10 million is a lot of money, Mace, that you could spread out over these players. You're just obfuscating the point, the clear and obvious point here, which is if the school is making $70 and $80 million off of that, $10 million is not enough. Mace, NIL
is too new to say what isn't enough.
Let me ask you this. If you were putting in the majority of the work for a company, right? Don't you think you should get a good chunk of the profits?
Putting in the majority of the work as far as generating the revenue for the company?
Yes. Shouldn't you be getting broke off too?
It depends.
Oh,
wow, that's to sit here and say that because think about it though. The kid that's generating the revenue only has a 2-year, 3-year span to generate that revenue, and it's somebody else is doing the same thing for that school. So it's not like this person is a fixed character in this school's.
So let me ask you this: Do you think that the quarterbacks after Cam Newton have made as much money for Auburn as Cam Newton did?
No.
Okay, then so what the hell are you talking about with that? What are you talking about? So we know more people. We know other people have more value. What are we talking about?
But if Cam gets his money, right?
We're gonna have to circle back on this because we got to move on. Because what you saying, we gonna have to long form discussion this because what you saying is against so much of what you said before, which is wild to me. Now all of a sudden we're putting a cap on what the players can make, but
that's crazy to me to think that $10 million isn't enough for a school to fund its athletes, bro. That it's crazy to me to think that. I'm sorry,
bro. Cool, but how much? So what? All right. So what should the schools do with the rest of that money? I'll move on after this. What should the schools do with the rest of that money?
What have they always done with the money, dog?
So instead of actually giving it to the people that are earning the revenue, they should just continue to do the bullshit they've been doing. That's your stance on this. I just want to be clear.
So if a school gets a $70 million TV deal, half of that should go to the players across their athletic program?
Show me a sport where that's not the case.
That's crazy, bro.
Show me a sport where that's not the case.
NBA players don't get half of the TV deals.
They NBA players basically get half of the revenue. Let me get you the exact number. Hold on.
While Jerome is looking that up, we're going to go ahead and go to our next topic. Okay. So while Jerome is doing that, let's say
the NBA players currently are at a 50-50 split of the BRI with them. Before in 2005, the players got 57% of the income. So my nigga, again, yes, the players historically get the money. They usually get their share too. That's all I'm saying. Like,
bro, we're talking about professional athletes versus nobody, bro. You can probably name
everybody
10,
gets to the pros, brother.
Name 10 niggas off of Michigan's football roster right now.
And here's my thing. Here's who I'm arguing on behalf of. The guys like I believe his name is Marshawn Lattimore, South Carolina. That dude never got a chance to get to the league because those injuries in his last year robbed him of it. But if he was in college and able to make money, he would have been a millionaire before he ever walked out of those doors.
And that's
all I'm saying,
bro. And that's unfortunate.
So
and kids should have been getting paid before then.
And all I'm saying is, so now that we're paying them, I'm not going to cheat you out your revenue.
You're not cheating anybody out of their revenue.
So an executive that don't do piss all can get the money, but players have to get
these kids are going into the draft as millionaires right now. How are you cheating them out of their revenue, bro?
How many players get drafted every year, Mace? What is it? There's 252 picks or something like that in
NFL draft?
And there are thousands of.
I'm sorry, bro. I don't feel like a 3-star prospect who's just a roster filler needs to be a millionaire by the time he finishes playing. I'm sorry, bro.
Nobody said he has to be a millionaire.
There's maybe 5 stars on each college roster, dog.
Nobody said he would be a millionaire. That's not realistic when you're talking about a roster that is when rosters are consistently around like 85 guys. That is not a reasonable thing that we're talking about. Not everybody's going to be a millionaire, but everybody's contributing to the product, and so they should get their money too.
There's maybe 5 kids on each team that's filling up that stadium.
I mean, you're arguing the wrong point. Again, are these niggas not on the team too?
Yeah, they're on the team.
They go to class.
Hold on.
And in some capacity, they're getting money.
Wait.
And in some capacity, they're getting money, bro.
Wait,
I'm just saying.
One second. Let me just get this out real quick, okay? Because we need to get past this. But at the same point, let me ask you this, okay? So, Mace, you said there's like 5 people on the team that are literally packing those stadiums, right? Okay. So historically, we're looking at, especially college football, quarterback, maybe 1 or 2 receivers, running back, and possibly a tight end, okay? Or maybe a defensive player. So then basically what you're saying is like that the majority of that onus would fall on them. But what about the people that are protecting the quarterback? What about the people that are rushing the passer? We have to. They're getting. What I'm saying, I'm saying those could be
all of them are. What you're saying is a reality.
Hold on,
that's not reality, Mason. You know that.
But you're talking about 5-star recruits. But people forget that they're centers, guards, tackles that are 5-star recruits too. Yeah, they don't have the name value as a quarterback who's always going to get highlighted, or a running back, or a wide receiver, or even the most dominant defensive player. But those are still contributors.
I guarantee you, every player on the University of Texas roster is receiving some sort of money through NIL.
But that's Texas.
If Arch is out here, the reason why people are coming to the stadium, of course he gets a couple million.
Does every school have the same 1-2 as Texas?
No.
Then you got to start forcing their hands. We'll move on. Seth Rollins.
Crazy.
Dog, I'm sorry. I don't understand how all of a sudden you're rooting for the rich guys who don't do shit.
I'm not rooting for the rich guys. I'm just saying teams should have a cap.
No, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
I'm not rooting for the rich guy to say teams should have a cap. That's crazy.
Okay. But now, where does the rest of the money go? You still do not have a clean answer for that.
Always gone, bro.
So
those people are still going to make their money. Those schools are still going to make their money, bro.
So instead of making it equity, right, you're just like, keep doing the same grimy shit that we've always been doing.
We can't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're not going to stop these universities from making money, dog.
Bro, nobody's trying to stop them from making money. All we're saying is they got to pay the players their fair share too.
So $10 million cap isn't a fair share like that. That's not enough. That's not enough
I've said to you, if an organization is making $70 million a fucking year from them, $10 million is not enough.
when there's maybe 5 stars on that campus?
Mace, if you were making an organization $70 million a year, you would not only accept $10 million a year.
Throughout an entire athletic program, there's maybe 5 stars on that entire campus, and you're trying to tell me.
But the stars aren't the only ones making the money, though.
They're the ones people going to see.
Bro. Come on, we know we've seen plenty of college football stadiums that are still full every goddamn week and don't really have stars. There are the University of Illinois don't have stars, but that stadium is full like every week. What are we talking about, bro? People love football. Football is life to people. That's why the stadiums are full. It ain't because of these stars. Football is life. Like, come on, man. Uh-oh, is he frozen?
No.
Oh, okay, he's good now. He's good. It looked like he was frozen. It looked like you were frozen for a second. I was worried. I was like, uh-oh. But we do have to move on. Terrell is right. Seth Rollins. There's rumors that have came out this week that said Seth Rollins, they may try and work something where he cashes in and it just kind of goes bad and somebody else ends up winning the championship. My question for both of you on this is, especially UT, I got to ask, how do they resolve this situation with Seth Rollins? Should the cash-in still happen or should they just find a way to move on?
Once again, we still don't know what Seth's diagnosis is, because he's even said it himself when they were in Birmingham that it was so, like, his knee was so swollen that they didn't give him actual, like, diagnosis. Like, they're going to go back in like 2 weeks to do it.
I'll tell you what his diagnosis is. He ain't got no knees.
But see, that's the thing. It's like, but why can't you just say, oh, it's his meniscus, it's his Achilles or something like that? It should be, so we should have a diagnosis. But to wait a couple weeks, I think that I think you just don't have Seth cash in. Like, because once again, we need to know how long this man's going to be out for, because if he's going to be out till, August of next year, okay, then you need to move past, because anybody that knows the circumstances with the Money in the Bank contract, it's good for a year. Guess what? When was that PLE? Back in June. So if he's going to be out out till August of 2026, then you need to move on. If it's safe for Seth to do a failed cash in, I would be okay with that, but only in the guy. But the thing is I don't. But who's he gonna do it against? What, you're gonna have him try and cash in on Cena? You're gonna have him try and cash in on Gunther? Both of which are in the same vein as Seth. Are you gonna or here's the kicker? Here's the real kicker, and the one that I think if they do this is going to be the solution. Because right around the time that this event is happening, it's about the time we're gonna get a real diagnosis for Seth. There's a street fight happening at SummerSlam. There's already no rules there, so then you can just go ahead to cash in, and then what happens? Cash in, see, and guess what? You make it a triple threat. What's the beautiful thing about a triple threat in the first place? No DQ. But even more beautiful, a street fight triple threat. Oh, look who's gonna come to make sure Seth Rollins doesn't win that championship. Oh, I think you know who I'm thinking of. Like Mussolini and Kennedy. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing a Jim Cornette right now. But that is the way you do it, and you can keep Seth, hot. But at the same time, you could have the OTC pop up and do that damage too.
I do have to say, I'm sorry, Mace. He didn't call it its proper name. He said SummerSlam. I don't know what it's at. What's it going to be called this year?
Yam Slam.
Thank you, sir. Yes, that's the only event that I know it as this year. It's Yam Slam. That's it. So, Terrell, I'm going to need you to consistently refer to it as Yam Slam from here on out.
I'll call it Jelly Slam instead of Yam Slam.
Nope. Yam Slam.
Yam Slam, brother.
Nope. I say until they have Nikita, Jada, Lola also on that card, I am not worried.
I'm sorry,
about
bro.
No yams.
Cardi is an acceptable substitute. Say what you want to.
And Lyra Valkyrie gonna be in there. She got yams, so I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
bro. We have acceptable substitutes. Yam
Yeah,
slam.
I said
we're
in
getting
addition to the. I said addition to the card. Add on the
we're
card, not
getting.
already on the card. Okay.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying we got plenty of yams on the card. You sound like a hater right now.
Well, ain't no hateration or holleration up in this dancery right now. So,
oh Jesus, Mace, I gotta ask because Seth Rollins is your guy. That is your seems to be your numero uno right now. How do you want things to play out for Seth here?
Listen, bro. Whenever they talk about they need a couple weeks before they can give out a diagnosis, that pretty much means everything in his knee is done for. That means the damage is so bad that it's going to take a couple weeks for it to for them to be able to completely assess it. Give up the money in the bank, dog. Give it up to somebody in your crew. Hand it over to Braun Break. I don't care what you do, dog, but trying to put Seth in the ring in any capacity right now would be a detriment overall to the WWE.
I don't
because I've seen enough knee injuries to know that if it takes time for them to actually be able to assess that said injury, it's not looking good, bro.
Yeah,
his knee is in shambles right now.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it the night that the injury happened, right? When he tried to put every time he was moving it, the leg was shaking like this. And we've seen enough sports injuries too. You've seen enough too, where it's like, that leg is shaking like that when a man's just trying to go walk and plant his leg. Somewhere in the structure is messed up, and we all know it's his knee in this case.
It's hanging on by a thread.
If there's even a thread left.
All right, can we just all agree Seth Rollins needs to stop trying to do moonsaults off the second rope? Because if you remember his injury before WrestleMania, it happened off a moonsault from the second rope. This one, he did the flip from the second rope. Like I say, the only one I can say was not from the second rope was when he tried to do that power bomb on Kane when he completely blew out his knee. And like I say, back when that happened when his initial solo run. But
I think he needs to do you remember when Triple H tore his hammy and he came back super swole up top? I think Seth needs to make an adjustment like that and become like more of a power wrestler because, brother, your age is not on your side right now, Mr. Rollins. So you need to.
Are you saying we need to have a AJ Styles type evolution in Seth Rollins' game at this point?
Yep, where it's like, hey, dog, I'm only going to do these spring spots maybe once in a match if I do it at all.
Fair enough. I got it. Because, I mean, I know what a serious knee injury looks like, bro. I've seen enough of them.
Look, like I said, we discussed this before. It's either ACL and MCL or ACL, MCL, and meniscus or just meniscus. Either way, he got to have surgery and he got to sit down for a year. So it is
because what they're saying, like, oh, he doesn't have to cash in until June of next year. Like, bro, just give that thing up to one of your guys in your crew on good faith. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in trying to. There's no point in WWE trying to run Seth out there in any capacity. Other than a microphone at this point, other than a dark, shadowy figure at this point.
He's the Cobra Commander.
Debo, that is very true. He has said that very, very consistently. Yeah, I could see Debo. I could totally see that where he literally is just cashing in just to screw over Punk, not even to win the title, but just to screw him over. But that would be a waste of the money in the bank, in my opinion. So I hope they don't end up doing that. I hope they go more along the lines of something like what Mace was saying there, which is, hey, let's pass this off to Brian Breaker.
Wait, are we? It's a consensus that like we're thinking what Debo's saying is that Seth comes to cash it in, and he cashes in, rolls in the ring, and just lays down for Gunther. It's just like,
something wild like that. You know what I mean? He hits Punk with the case and then just lay down for Gunther. Like, here you go.
That would be acceptable.
Yeah, like that would be a crazy ending. I don't want that one, but that I could at least accept that. I could for sure be like, okay.
Because like this man has such a vendetta. See, that's the type of petty that I live for right there. If you're that petty to say that I don't care about my own opportunity, I just got to see you fall and we good. Hey, bro. Hey, dog. That's the acceptable amount of petty right there. I'm here for it. If that happens, dog, I'm here for it.
The only acceptable petty I'll take is if it's Tom. But at the same time, they say it's just, man, that I don't, if that was to happen, I don't know if the world could contain my just laughter at that moment, because the IWC gonna hate it, but we'll be like,
imagine if they even did it in the sense. Imagine if they did it in a sense of he hits Punk with the title right, then like Gunther power bombs him, and then he lets Gunther do the finger poke of doom. How angry the internet will be! So angry they will lose. And me personally, I'll love it because it'll be like, this is an excellent troll job. This is great.
They be madder than Goldberg after his retirement speech. Oh wait, what speech? Anyways, all right.
Hey, did y'all see? Goldberg was a little salty about that, bro.
Oh, you think?
Y'all saw his interview he did after that? Hey, bro, he was salty, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was so salty he had to return him back for high blood pressure. Anyways, I'm just saying. Hey, but you know, but you want to talk about levels of petty? But look at what Bret Hart said. You know what? They cut off his. Let's say, yeah, they did cut off his retirement speech too early. I would have cut it off early too. I'd have cut it off at his entrance. That's the level of petty I want to be. I want to be Bret the Petty Man Hart petty. That's what I want to do.
We're not going to do that. He's too petty inside. He's got too much hate inside for that, man. But we got to move forward because we got a little bit of time here left. Then there is one story that we most definitely got to spend some time on here, but I think we can hit this one kind of quick. Mace, this whole Shemar Stuart situation went entirely left on the Bengals. From how it seems to me at this point, Mace, it seems like their agent might have even told the Bengals ahead of time, like, hey, dog, if you draft us and then you don't want to give us our money, we ain't coming. We'll just go back. And I think they thought he was playing, and now we are seeing the situation that he is back working out at Texas A&M. So do you end up thinking he stays at A&M, or do the Bengals finally stop playing with this man's money?
So from what I've gathered, right, I think the Bengals own his rights even going forward into next season.
Incorrect. If he goes back to Texas A&M, what happens is that the Bengals, and if they do not work out a deal before the time of next year's draft, he can go back into the draft. And if he's not drafted by anyone, he is then a free agent.
Okay, so the whole reason that they got into this spot is that they are trying to put language into his contract, right? About voiding his guaranteed money based off of like an injury or something, like something that normally doesn't go into these rookie contracts. The Bengals are trying to experiment and with Shemar Stewart's contract, and he's basically said, nah, bro, I'm already a millionaire. I'm not about to take less than what I'm owed. I love it. I'm here for it. Now, obviously, these players can't freaking. Obviously, these organizations aren't going to be able to screw over their players, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, you know why? Because the players were actually able to command their respectable amount of money while they were in college. It's amazing. But to put it out here, okay, essentially, they're just he's saying that they want it to be consistent, right? That, hey, they do not want to change up the language in their contract. They're not asking for anything crazy. He just wants the language to be consistent with all the other first rounders. So I don't know why the Bengals are choosing to play with his money and play around like this. See, Mace, this is why they don't deserve Joe Burrow. This is why they don't deserve. This is why you remember before Burrow got drafted, and some people was like, "Hey, dog, you should maybe try and force your way out of Cincinnati. They don't deserve you." It's this type of effing behavior to why people say the Bengals don't deserve nice things. You see?
I mean, as for what they still haven't even gave Trey Henderson his money yet.
Oh no, he's Mace.
He's ready to sit out for a year.
He's never getting his money from them.
Hey,
okay.
He said he gonna sit on the couch, bro. I really feel like he is not gonna play a snap for them without a new contract.
Brother,
would you?
Nah. Not after the offseason that they just gave T. Higgins all this money. He came off an injury, and they still gave him all that money.
So for clarity on this, let me read you these 2 paragraphs here. Well, it's like 2.5, basically, essentially. So the dispute between Shemar Stuart and the Bengals isn't over money. Under the rookie wage scale that is implemented by the collective bargaining agreement, Shemar's fully guaranteed 4-year contract as a 17th pick would be worth $18.9, which includes a $10 million signing bonus. The disagreement is over the language in Stewart's contract that would trigger the voiding of his salary guarantees with a breach or default by him. The Bengals want to tighten up the language and remove any ambiguity over whether all remaining guarantees in the contract will void with a default. Stewart's camp prefers to keep the same language that was used with the Bengals 2024 first-round pick that was selected last year at one spot later than Stewart. So part of the reason he's doing this is because he's like, nah, baby, y'all ain't playing with my money and going to start adding in some void years and stuff. Because I know void years may be confusing people. If it is confusing to you, I advise you, please go check out Brett Coleman's channel. He did a great explanation to how void years and how these contracts in the NFL really work. We don't have the time to break that all down to you because that is like an hour video, and it would take me like at least a half hour to break down to you the important stuff from there. So check that out. But if you got to call it, Mace, is he staying at A&M or are the Bengals going to stop playing with his money?
I think he's going to go back to college. I think he's going to sue college to try to get his eligibility back.
T, what do you think?
That man going back to school.
Hey, it's 100% to me. He going back to school. It's a sweep around here because the Bengals is going to keep trying to play with his money, and he going to keep telling them boys, hell no, baby. I got money at Texas A&M. I'm good.
Look how close we are to the NFL season.
Yep. Training camp started already, bro. The rookies are reporting to training camp.
Exactly.
Yep. Now, the last story we got to cover here this week is this wild one here. So, for those that don't know, Teddy Bridgewater is currently a high school football coach that is not being paid a salary. Okay, let me put that out there first and foremost. Not being paid a salary. He is a volunteer head football coach of the team, right? So the district wants to suspend him for helping kids and doing good. I'm going to read exactly what this tweet says. It says Bridgewater personally covered $14,000 for training camps, $9,500 for team pride sets. He paid $2,200 a week for pregame meals, $700 a week for Ubers, and more. And they want to suspend this man for spending his own money to try and help these kids out. Fellas, I can rant and rave about this for the longest. I'm going to let y'all go first. Go ahead, T.
So they're essentially mad that he did their job better than them. That's why I'm assessing because I understand like if there was some kind of like coercion, if he was recruiting people, but that's not the case. He's a volunteer, so he don't get paid. He's spending his own money, and it's for stuff for what training camp? You said training camp. You said pride sets, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not 100% sure.
I think that has something to do along with their gear.
I'd probably say like team gear, like uniform, probably their uniforms, probably stuff for like the cheerleaders and people of that nature.
Okay. Yep. Food and then Ubers. What in the blue Demon Jr. are they smoking down there? Like, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. You gonna get mad at, hold on. Wait. Let's just analyze this. So the district don't get mad when teachers come out their own pocket to buy school supplies and stuff like that for their students. But this is a coach. He is doing coach stuff. He is helping with training camp, helping with uniform sets. He is helping with making sure his team is eating a basic human need. And then Ubers, yeah, because guess what? Most of these kids ain't got cars. Most of these kids' parents might be working 2 jobs, can't come pick them up from practice. Maybe the bus ain't exactly going to drop them off at home. So once again, what are these people smoking? And please, if y'all are smoking it, make sure the rest of us get some, because I want to know. I want to reach that level of idiocy when I am on a different plane, because that means my brain just shot down and I don't make no kind of sense.
So for the people that don't know, he's the head coach of Miami Northwestern. For people that don't know, that's not a very
not a powerhouse.
They're not a powerhouse anymore. They were, but what I'm
years.
But what I'm trying to get at is that it's not a very rich area. These kids probably they're probably struggling to get to school, for one. They're probably, not all of them probably have the basic amenities at home at all times. And it's not even like it's not like he's paying those kids' parents' bills. He's making sure that when they come to school, when they come to football practice, if they can get to football practice, that they got everything they need. He's making sure the athletic program can present itself in a respectable fashion. If it were to come out that these kids were eating sandwiches and bags of chips before games, people would lose their mind. Like, oh my God, Teddy Bridgewater, he's a millionaire, he's an ex-NFL player, but his players are eating sandwiches. Y'all will be ripping him apart for this. But the fact that he's giving these kids meals before games, we're not even saying that he's sending them home with food or they're getting special meals during the week. Team meals that they have before games, he's making sure that they eat good. He's making sure that they got new uniforms, new cleats, making sure the athletic program, like they've got all the equipment that they need. He probably paid for the sound equipment and all that stuff for their pregame. Make sure the cheerleaders got everything they need. Probably pay for the mask. Things that make your school presentable. Because we've all seen it, bro. We've all seen it where a school, you go to a stadium somewhere and it's beat up, broke down. The uniforms look old and busted. They probably got 3 cheerleaders out there. Like, come on, man. We've all seen that. And it's like, bro, that's terrible. And the fact that he's making sure not only the school that he coaches at, his alma mater doesn't look like that. Come on, man. Without accepting a single dime from that school, bro. Come on, dog.
Again, insanity.
Hey, Teddy, I know a couple places you can come do the same thing. Come on, we welcome you up here in Illinois. Come do your thing up here, bro.
It's insane to me that this is even something that we're having to talk about, that a man is taking his own money and trying to help make his program better by just giving these kids the basic things that other schools actually already have. I think it's bull. Anybody who decided to try and make this happen, you should be ashamed of your damn self. Because again, May stated it all there for you. T stated it right there for you. He's not doing anything that's wrong that you could deem wrong. All he's doing is supplying the needs that these kids have, and y'all want to punish him. You should be effing ashamed of yourselves. Hey, because here's the dirty secret that y'all don't want to talk about while you're trying to finger wag at Teddy. If y'all was doing right by these kids, he wouldn't have to spend a damn dime.
Bro, it's these whole district committees, bro. They probably just got steamrolled by Miami Northwestern last year that are salty as hell. That's what it comes down to, bro. They because Miami, like I said, the program isn't all that prestigious. It hasn't been for the last few years. Teddy comes back, they win, and these other teams in that district are salty, so they got to find some way to poke holes into what's going on there.
The hate is real. Mace, tell the people where to find you.
Man.
Tell the people where to find you.
You can find me, as always, at @TCampbell_ITC and on Instagram and at The Real Trey Camp on the X/Twitter. And you can always find me here Sundays on ITC Sportsball.
I'm never going to call it X. He can kiss my ass. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. At Jay Spanner, man, everywhere. You'll see either my pretty face or the ITC logo. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate us, review us. If you only give us 4 stars, never get us 5 stars. I'm inclined to think that you are a hater. You don't want me to think that because I will call you out on your. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you again for coming in with another episode of your favorite weekly sports show, and that is ITC
Sportsball.
Sportsball. Oh, that was so off.
Good, bro. I told you, dog. I told you we have to be off. If we're
lizard
ever
people,
on time.
We are not lizard people yet.
If we're ever on time, we're lizard people.